Autobots and Books fans, this is Scorp1701.
And I'm Craven Call. Hey guys.
And tonight I have brought Craven Call in because she is the resident expert in My Little Pony, and we will definitely need her because tonight's item is this awesome mix-up between My Little Pony and the Transformers. This is My Little Prime, part of the crossover collection of My Little Pony, and they have done Ghostbusters, and they've done Power Rangers, they've done Dungeons and Dragons, and now obviously they have done Transformers, which is going to be my favorite, obviously. And I think My Little Pony has done crossover stuff before. Craven, what do you think? Have they done crossover stuff before?
There has been crossovers. There's also been inverse crossovers, which is weird, but they, multiple times in the past, have reached out to other companies and either made cameos in their stuff or had things in their own, such as things as Doctor Who, as well as Pulp Fiction and a couple of other movies where they either star in their comics or in their show in the background.
Very neat. And, you know, My Little Pony is owned by Hasbro, and they still have tons of other licenses that they could do if they continue this crossover collection, like Gem and the Holograms or G.I. Joe would be a big one. So, but anyway, enough about the history. Let's take a look at this guy in the box, okay? As you can see, getting real close here, he comes in a nice white box, has crossover collection, My Little Pony, a nice animated picture of what he looks like, Autobot symbol, My Little Prime, Transformers, More Than Meets the Eye, Hasbro 4+ on the side of the box. It just has My Little Pony, My Little Prime, and approved by Optimus Prime X002. So he's number 002 in this collection. So I'm not sure which of the others. I think maybe the Ghostbuster may have been released first. But anyway, continuing on to the back of the box, you can see cutie marks and bots. Nice picture of him in his full stature, crossover collection symbol, and a whole bunch of credits for the box. No one is interested. On this side of the box, another My Little Pony, cutie marks and bots. The side of him, I guess. Yeah, it carries over from the front, so that's pretty neat. On the bottom of the box, more credits and barcodes and such, and on the top of the box, nothing. Now, that's what this guy looks like in the box. No one wants to see him in the box. I know I don't. But before we get him out and see what he can do, let's compare him with some other My Little Ponies from the official line. And for in-box comparison, Craven Call, take it away.
Alright, so the first thing that you'll usually notice about vinyl figure boxes is that they all have a singular theme. Something I noticed about this one with the My Little Prime figure is that it varies a little bit from the typical box. Now, the typical My Little Pony vinyl figurine box is all black, with usually the colors of the mane or the cutie mark striped along the side. I have some of my own collection here to show you the difference. The first being, of course, the pop figure. The pop figure, of course, is almost always pink with a white border. It's not your typical vinyl figurine, but it is interesting to see how they chose, marketing-wise, to differentiate the characters. And while this one is facing sideways, of course, this one is facing directly in front, as most pop figures are wont to do. Now, if I move this one from the frame and show you some that are in the back, you'll see that the character I have to the right is of Rainbow Dash, a limited edition figure. Now, her box is not typically black, of course, and that is because she was a limited edition, and so they ended up switching the color scheme and added detail to it, which I thought was fairly neat, and they changed the character itself. Now, something you can probably tell, even while it's still in the box, is that the character on the right, Rainbow Dash, is a little bit taller than the character on the left. And also, that there is a slightly less type of, I suppose, customization. All her hooves are on the ground. She's facing directly ahead. Her mane is directly as seen in the show, while the character on the left has some different types. He's looking a little bit to the side. He has a not neutral facial expression, and it is hard to see, but his hooves are not all firmly on the ground. And that's what I thought was fairly interesting. And yeah. So besides the coloration, of course, and the size difference, that is what a typical vinyl figurine box would look like. And then I have something special in the back for you as well. While this one, of course, is still a regular figurine character, the character I have in the back is, of course, of Princess Celestia. And this was part of a duel set for her and Nightmare Moon in a battle sequence. I only brought her in because Princess Celestia is a fan favorite to many. And also because, well, it just made sense that she is already facing to the right. Now, something that you can immediately tell in the difference between the vinyl figurine boxes is that hers has color all along the sides of it as well. Not only does it showcase the character on the side as well, but it also showcases it alongside the back, exactly how it looks inside the case. And of course there is an obvious size difference, not just because the Celestia in the show is bigger than most ponies, but also because she was created a little bit differently. She's also much more detailed, with her face being a little bit more hollowed, her hair of course being everywhere, and her having a distinct, defined pose. And of course she's part of the Guardians of Harmony fan series, created partially by fans, partially by directors. And it's just interesting to see how they chose to differentiate the vinyl figures. For a while, My Little Prime is mainly plastic and has a nice shine to him. Princess Celestia is mostly matte, as well as having a see-through part in her hair, which is a nod to the fact that she doesn't actually physically have hair. It is just simply pure magical aura.
Very good. Thank you for that. Moving on. And for a box comparison with My Little Prime and a regular Earthrise Transformer, here you have Smokescreen, and you can see the boxes are a little different. So taller for the Transformer. This goes along the line more of a My Little Pony styled box than it does a Transformer box, but still, it's interesting to see a comparison. Alright, moving on. And here we have My Little Prime out of the box. And out of the box, from hoof to head, he stands at approximately 4.5 inches. And from the side, from nose to tail, he is approximately 6 inches. So he is a kind of a big figure, as it were. And I've never really had a My Little Pony before. So Craven Call, how does this measure up to the My Little Ponies that you've had the experience of playing with?
Well, while most of mine are still in the box, there is the one that I do currently have out. And it's actually a cameo character that references a different show, Doctor Who, of course. And that character is called Dr. Who's. And something I noticed immediately about these two characters, or rather their figures, is that this one seems to have some type of molding technology, or it was used for it, or plastic injection, because unlike this character right here, the Doctor Who's model seems to have, well, seams alongside of it, and also seems to have a more solid figure, either a plastic rubber mixture or not. And something else that you managed to show me was that this one had some articulation, only in one place, but in the tail. But while I'm not entirely sure why they did it, it is interesting to see how they did it. And also that this one is about an inch or two shorter than the rest of the figures that I've seen so far.
Alright, thank you very much. So, let's get a closer look on this guy and bring him closer in so we can get a good view of that head. Alright, let's focus in. Alright, now you can see, those of you who are familiar with Optimus Prime, this is basically what Optimus Prime would be if he was a pony. I mean, even down to the deco of the everything on this pony. So you can see, starting off, he has a nice blue mane of hair, and it is a dual colors. You have a light blue and a dark blue, both metallic. So that is really nice there. You can see his ears have some lines on them, which would kind of simulate Optimus's antenna. You can see his crest right here in the middle, so that again, like Optimus's head sculpt. Nice blue eyes and a nice silver metallic face, so to represent Optimus's face plate. Going down to his chest, you can see the truck windows and the grill, and all the way down to Optimus's belt looking. The hair is nice and long, and it goes all the way down. On the side of his leg, it's red, silver, some more red, and some blue for the hooves. You can actually see a smokestack here to the side, and on the back of the legs, which are mostly silver, you have some blue boot type things with some wheels, which would represent his feet. So I mean, this is really neat for the way they designed this to be almost exactly like Optimus Prime. Now, this is a strange place, I think, for an Autobot symbol. I wonder why that wasn't on the shoulder.
Well, in the My Little Pony universe, whenever you see a mark on a creature's flank, or just on the side of their leg, as some people will call it, it usually represents a cutie mark. Now, a cutie mark is something that can dictate one of three things, in my personal opinion. It's either what your destiny says, what you are greatest at, or what you enjoy doing the most. And considering that Optimus Prime, of course, uses that symbol to rally others and also as a designation of who he is behind, it's safe to say that this is probably a mix of either what his destiny is, what he loves to do most, and also what, well, he's supposed to do.
And Team Faction of the Autobot symbol. So that is really, really nice. And on the bottom here, we seem to have some holes that you can plug into a stand if you have some. You have a standard My Little Pony a My Little Pony symbol here on this one. Some I don't know, serial marks here for Hasbro, and this one's just a solid little hoof. So coming all the way back to the last item is his tail, and his tail is again a mixture of two colored reds. You have a lighter red here and then a darker red coming out the middle, and the articulation that Craven Call had mentioned earlier can be found here, and you can see the tail will go all the way around 360 degrees, and that is the only type of articulation we have in this figure. Now, Craven, you did mention that none of the other ponies had articulation?
That's correct. You would think so, because around usually their head, their tails, and their mane, or their hair rather, you will always find a seam. And it makes me think that not only are these made differently, but they're probably also marketed in a slightly different way. Because, once again, my figures are from an earlier line of production, whenever they first started making collectibles. And so it leads me to believe that they've either refined the process, or this is just simply for collectibles that are also crossovers, which would also explain why this one tends to be a little bit smaller.
I see. All right. Now, well, that's the figure in general and its articulation and what it looks like. So let's get some other figures out here for comparison. And for comparison with some other My Little Pony figures, Craven Call, take it away.
Alright, so something that's easily noticeable as you first look at these figures is that from left to right, they continuously get shorter. And there's nothing to be said about size, it's just a matter of height. Now, the one on the right, of course, looks very, very different. The reason being that it is a pop figure. Most people know what a pop figure is. If you don't, they are usually cartoonized versions of what is already there. You know, with the big heads, the small eyes, and such. Now, on the left is what a regular My Little Pony figure looks like, and if I turn him to the side, you'll find that he also has a mark on his side, like Optimus Prime has. And even though there is no articulation, you can see very faintly there are seams around his head and around the tail, and as well along the collar, which means that these were probably glued in place. Now, something I can't physically show on camera is the quality of the textures and the quality of the materials made. While you can clearly feel the smooth sheen and the type of plastic that was used for the Optimus Prime figure, on the left it seems to be made of a sort of plastic rubber, and it is completely solid. It's actually got a nice little weight to it. But other than that, the only small details that you can tell is that there seem to be different type of hand marks, either meaning that this was partially sculpted itself, or that whenever it was first being created, that imperfections had not been removed from the line yet. And on the side of this one here, it's a little further back, but you'll also see the same cutie mark, slightly different in coloration, but the exact same nonetheless.
And that's an hourglass, right?
Yes, it is an hourglass with sand running through it, which is a reference to the fact that Doctor Who himself is a reference to the Doctor Who character. The 10th one, I believe, by David, yes, by David. And in the show, he doesn't exactly have a time machine, but he says the exact same things, runs around the same way, is voiced by a British voice actor, and the hair and some of the design choices like eye color also match the current actor.
Very good. And that has been the comparison between other My Little Ponies. And here he is with two Optimus Primes. You have the Transformers Earthrise Prime, which is one of the newest Primes on the market, and you have the G1 original Optimus Prime, which is one of the oldest Primes that has been created. So, taking a look at them together, you can see that he is definitely taller than both truck modes, and but as for lengthwise, it's comparable. The tail beats out, well, it's about the same with the original G1, and I think the Earthrise is going to be a bit longer because of, well, no, it's still about the same if you wind up from the nose to the tail. So that is pretty cool, but that's them in truck mode. Let's check out the robot mode. And here he is with the Primes in robot mode, and obviously big difference here, but you can see a lot of the same characteristics on the pony as opposed to Optimus Prime throughout the years that he's been in production. So I think it's really cool that they decided to do this. Mostly you'll see Optimus Prime with the Autobot symbol on his left shoulder. Does the cutie mark always have to be on the right side?
Well, that's the thing. On the actual ponies in the show, the cutie mark will show up on both sides, but because these figures are usually only viewed from one side, I'm thinking it's a stylistic choice that they only put them on, well, the one side. Of course, this looking like it was sprayed on, which is a nice little detail. But yeah, usually in the show it's on both sides, but just for the figures it's always on one side. Okay,
and it's like also with the Autobot of Optimus Prime, you can also put the Autobot symbol on both shoulders. And I think he was facing to the right in the box, so they'd obviously have the bot symbol, Autobot symbol facing out so you could see it. Alright, so that's him with some Transformers. And this has been the Hasbro My Little Pony Transformers crossover collection, My Little Prime. And this figure is just cute and awesome, and I just can't say enough good things about it. It is very cool. The metallic paint is awesome. Has some tail articulation. The different colors of blue for the mane and different colors for the red for the tail just make it pop. I'm really excited to have this in my collection. It's available on the Hasbro Pulse website if you are looking to pick one up of your own. And I think it's worthy of your collection, whether you collect Transformers or My Little Pony. So, Craven Call, what do you think about it?
While it's definitely different from the other typical My Little Pony figures, and I do raise an eye at the mane and the tail because, wow, that's pretty long, it's a pretty good figure. I like how they have the different highlights on it. I like the stylistic choice where they made the cutie mark look like it was sprayed on. It still, you know, harkens back to the fact that he is still a machine and that it wouldn't look like a normal cutie mark. And yeah, that's most of what I have to say about it. It would have been interesting to see how they would have put his faceplate on, but I'm happy to see that he has a regular mouth all the same.
Alright, well guys, that's it. That's the video. Hope you guys have a good night. Until next time, keep playing.